Ladies and gentlemen, in the main event, all the winner by unanimous decision.
Mina's house. 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 Mina, say what? Thank you for watching. It's the Mina's House podcast. It is another edition of the Mina's House podcast. I am Mina, say what? I am here with the voice contestant, Aliyah Khaylyn, which Aliyah, a lot of people feel like you should have won. So I'm very happy to be talking to you. I did an article on you for the Philadelphia Tribune. Yes. And I just wanted to kind of sit down with you and have a more in-depth conversation about your background. Mm-hmm. You literally have been thrusted into the limelight, yes, right? Yes. People are in love with you. They feel like you were wrong, like you should have won. So there's already like this camaraderie of people bonding with you, feeling like they need to advocate on your behalf.
Which I love. Thank you.
So how has that transition been for you? Kind of just like going from being in the national spotlight to now going back home and you know, returning to that everyday grind?
It's been good, honestly. I mean, we've been filming since early June and the beginning of September. So it's been hectic since then, but now I kind of get to take a back seat and breathe and prepare for what's next and, you know, plan for my future accordingly and do it the best way I can. And I'm enjoying being home with my family and being able to just cook at home, right? Because in LA, okay, you're eating out of a microwave and that's not very fun. It's not very tasty. I am a food girl.
Let me find out what you're cooking.
I'm a foodie and I love to cook. Anything you want, I can cook. And I'm just not exaggerating either.
Right.
Okay, so
LA doesn't have that vibe. Like girls aren't going home to cook, you know, dinner at night.
They're ordering out every 5 seconds,
right.
Which I was unfortunately her during that time. But it's been a blessing to finally be home and have a breather. You're constantly either with your family 1 second, 1 week, and then for the next 3 weeks, you're out working and your schedule is fluctuating so much and you're doing so many things and in so many different environments that you have to adapt to. So I'm in an environment that I was born in. And I get to sit back and just be.
I love that. I feel like your story is very special and it says a lot about your ability to really adapt to change, right? So while you were in the Berklee School of Music, correct?
Yes.
You get this call that you're about to be on The Voice. So literally, it's your senior year, which everybody in their senior year is like, where am I going to work at? What am I going to do with my life afterwards? How am I going to make money? And you are like kind of preparing for a major life change.
Yes.
Tell me about balancing all of that. And do you feel like maybe your senior year was changed because of this big opportunity?
Well, anyone who knows anything about Berklee College of Music knows that our schedules are insane. Mm-hmm. It's not your everyday college experience. You don't only have 2 classes this day or just 4 classes in general. You're taking 8 classes, plus you're in extra ensembles and productions, and some students are even working on top of all of that. And at the time when the casting producer reached out to me, I was in my fall semester. It's like ending my fall semester. And I'm like, nah, this is a scam, you know. And I did my research. You know, I had to make sure he had his credentials. And he did. And I said, okay, you know what, God, I'll just go through with it. Like, whatever happens, happens. So you don't hear from them for like months. You just submit all your videos. And they're like, okay, we'll reach back out to you like spring. So I'm doing my senior year. I'm involved in a few different things. And I'm also trying to work on my own things as far as music. And we reach spring semester, which is my last semester at Berklee, in senior year. And I'm in 2 major productions. Like, it's taking up all of your time. You're rehearsing till 12 midnight. Like, you got full dates. And you just gotta do it. Like, I'm in rehearsals, writing the essays and, you know, getting up to sing, coming back, and then emailing people from the production at, you know, The Voice and like, hey, yeah, I'm ready to move on with the next step, or thank you for getting back to me. It's something that you just have to juggle. And thankfully, I've been in spaces for a very long time as a creative where you just have to adapt to things no matter how they come to you. So I'm grateful for that and how I have already had that experience and have that bandwidth, because this is a lot. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of time. You're dealing with various people, personalities, and attitudes, and you just have to go with it and just be graceful and just, do your thing and show up as your best self. So
you get to LA, you're like, I'm really here competing on The Voice.
Yes.
What was the most overwhelming thing for you?
I think the most overwhelming thing at that time, number one, was the unknown. Because, okay, you're going out here, but you're still able to get cut from the production. Like, people don't know, like, the people that go to blinds, that's not everybody that was, from there from the beginning.
I think you did say that. I think you said there was like 200 people or something.
Right. There's like...
That's crazy.
There's a little over 100 people that start this process, and there's a chunk of people that go out to LA, but they're still cutting people up until the day of the actual blind audition. I know, like, some people were getting cut the day before they were supposed to, like, they were scheduled to do their blind audition for the production. So it's just like the unknown. It's just like, okay, I'm spending money to come out here, and
you have to spend your own money.
As far as like necessities, you do get a stipend and things like that. But if, let's say, I did get cut, you would only get like not that much money. You know what I'm saying?
So they pay you per day. Is that how it works? So they pay for your accommodations. They pay for a stipend for your food, and then per day. Is that how that works?
Right. So you get like a weekly stipend every week. And then, yeah. But LA is expensive. So if I had got cut, it's like, okay, you just went out there for the experience and you're just grateful.
I'm going home now.
Which everyone is. But yeah, like, going out there, it's the unknown. Like, you don't know what these people are looking for. You can't take things personally, number one, because that's just the business we're in. But number two, I was leaving the day after my mother's birthday. And for many of you who know, and for those who don't know, my mother passed in 2021. So her birthday is always a huge thing. A ball of emotions for me and my siblings. So it was just like, okay, you gotta just get up and go. You're trying to grieve, and you're trying to, navigate all of your feelings. And you also have this huge, exciting thing that she's not a part of, but this huge, exciting thing that you're experiencing yourself. So there were a lot of feelings going into this production, and I just had to do it. And I just had to know why I was doing it to keep me going.
That's a lot of emotions. The emotions of graduating from college. And then I think it's June 8th is the date, correct? That your mom passed away.
I appreciate that.
It was June 8th. And then originally they had scheduled your ticket to leave on June 8th, which obviously is not a day that you can be on your own. You need to be with your siblings, especially since all this is really fresh with your mom. So you actually had to prolong going out there so you can kind of compose yourself, and then you're thrusted into this crazy environment. But I'm sure throughout it, you felt like she was watching.
I did. I was definitely comforted, by her spirit, because she, has instilled so much within me that she is here with me. But also I have my sister who is like a huge support, and she's in the room with us today. So it's kind of weird. It's kind of weird talking about her in front of her, because I always get emotional when she's not in the room. So I'm going to try to keep it together. But she is a huge support for me and my brother. But definitely with me throughout this process, she is a woman of wisdom, and she knows how to say things that will, resonate with my spirit and, put me back on track. So
is this her first interview that she's watching since all of this?
No.
Okay.
No.
I feel like she's a bit of a momager, right? Almost.
Yes.
So it's interesting, when we talked about your mom for the article that I wrote, you did talk to me about how she did push you. And that you studied under the jazz Christian artist. What was her name again?
Ruth Naomi Floyd. Yes.
Ruth Naomi Floyd. Mm-hmm. So yeah, in a way, you know, this is like you continuing with what your mother had pushed you to do. Absolutely. So yeah, I just love your spirit. You're so beautiful. She literally has minimal makeup on and she is like the prettiest.
Thank you so much.
Prettiest. So we're gonna get to what's happening now because I kind of can feel like you can be doing modeling stuff. Not that you want to be. Because you have the voice.
Works. I don't know.
Yeah. But you're there, right? So that journey was weird because you obviously were singing very difficult songs, which I was very, I was surprised by the fact during our interview, you told me they picked the songs for you.
Yes.
I did not know that. But that kind of gives you an insight about, like, you're not singing songs. I mean, you have the right, and I guess you can suggest.
Yes.
But they ultimately decide.
Right.
So I feel like even that can decide your future.
Exactly.
You know, maybe you want one song more than the other.
Right.
But they end up picking that song. And then for you, and I didn't know this at the time, but while I was watching, I'm like, why do they give her these huge ballads? Like, why is she singing the voices, right? Everybody else sings little cute songs, whatever.
Something that's like, okay,
little pop songs. You're singing Celine Dion, Tamar Braxton, Whitney Houston. So I feel like even putting you in that category of singers, and then you pick the Halle Bailey song as well. Halle is a little mermaid.
Yes.
Her falsetto is crazy.
Yes.
So even in that, I feel like they were already putting you in this hole, which is it's hard for you to be there because you're literally 23.
Yes.
And you're singing iconic songs by voices of generations.
Yeah.
And you handled it beautifully.
Thank you. Thank you.
Were you ever in the moment like, damn, why do I got to sing this song? And this person gets to sing, you know, I don't want to shade anybody else, but so-and-so, you know?
Honestly, no. I've always, since a child, I've loved the bigger and grander songs. And that's just something that I've always stuck with. And I love a challenge. If I feel like the key is a little bit of a challenge, I'm like, okay, well, it's not like I don't have the range. Let me just work on it. But as far as like the Tamar Braxton, she was top on my list of songs that I had chosen. And I was like, I hope they pick that song. And I said, I better sing that song like I haven't. And that was my first time singing the song. So I was really happy to be able to sing it on The Voice for millions of people to see. And for Tamar to see, thank you, Tamar, for shouting me out.
Oh, she did see it. Did. I love it.
She posted it on her page and everything, which, you know, is not very common for
Tamar don't co-sign people.
Right. So, thank you, Tamar. That was a huge blessing. I love you so much. But for the rest of the songs, I had for my very last performance, the Whitney Houston performance, I had a feeling that they were going to choose Whitney Houston. I got a call from Snoop's assistant, and she said, you know, we want to give you a big song. And when people say that, I'm like, okay, it has to be Whitney Houston.
Right.
I thought they were going to choose a different song than the one I sang by Whitney. And I was like, okay. Like when people sing Whitney Houston songs, sometimes they're just played out. People don't do them justice. And
so you sang I Have Nothing.
Yes. I sang I Have Nothing.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, the song was, you know, performed on the show previously. And I was just like, I hope people like this, and I hope it just doesn't sound like everyone else was singing it, which I know it's not because my voice is my own. But it's just like, it has to be different and stand out, you know?
So you wanted to sing Whitney, but what song would you have wanted to sing?
Well, I actually was aiming for, Somewhere Over the Rainbow by Patty.
Okay. Wow.
Patty LaBelle. I was aiming for that.
And that would make sense because you're a West Philly girl.
Right. I was aiming for that because it's a song that, you know, I've honed a lot over the years, and I have my own arrangement to it and rendition. And I just thought it would be beautiful to do it with their band and on the show. And Snoop's assistant, you know, let me know that they were aiming for a Whitney song. And I said, okay. You know, I was just on the phone like, okay. And I've sung Whitney songs previously, but this song is, you know, this is a this is a song that everyone knows.
But could you connect with that? I feel like you have to connect with I Have Nothing. Do you connect with I Have nothing but my love for you? You have to really be in love. Like, I ain't got nothing without you, bro. Like, did you connect emotionally with the song? Could you?
I connected emotionally with the song in the aspect of just being a singer. But also in the way that, it was just like more of a dedication to my mother and my siblings. Like, I had nothing without you guys. And that's a way that, feeling that it drove my emotions more.
Yeah.
But as a singer, it's like you have to embody Whitney, but you have to embody yourself even more. Because singing other people's songs, you don't want to sing it like them, but you also don't want to oversing it. So there were a lot of factors going into that song, and I changed some things in that song, and I said, okay, I'm not overdoing it. As long as it's tasteful, it's fine.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you guys received it well.
Well, it's interesting that Snoop actually picked a song for you and then ends up not going forward with you off the song that he picked, right? When you watch it back, how do you feel? Because obviously, and this happens to me even when I'm interviewing, right? When I'm in the moment, I'm focusing on 1,000 things. Like, how do I look? How's my body? Is the audio okay? Are the cameras going? Right? So when you're singing, I have to think it's the same thing. Like, oh, am I hitting it? Am I? But then when you're watching it back, you get to actually critique yourself as a professional, and I'm sure it's different.
It is different. To answer your first question about how I felt about Snoop's decision, honestly, I came into this this production with my own plan in mind for how I wanted to leave and how long I wanted to stay. And if I would have got to later rounds, that would have been beautiful too and a blessing as well. But I came in here knowing that whenever I was fulfilled, I would be satisfied. Whether it was with blinds or, the round after that, I was sticking with God's plan. And that's all I cared about. I knew whatever I sang on those stages that people would resonate with me and they would hear me, So, Snoop's decision was Snoop's decision.
I mean, the people are coming for him.
People are not happy. They're not happy.
They're not.
They're not. but
his team didn't end up winning anyways. We'll get to that.
I won't say anything.
Right. We'll get to that. But I can say it. You don't have to say it.
But I'm grateful that he did give me that song, though.
Yeah.
Because everyone loved it.
Right.
And
that gold dress that you wore.
Yes.
We're going to get to that too, the wardrobe, because I want to know all of that.
Yes.
So originally you were on Michael Bublé's team, and this is his first time on the show, correct? Right.
Man Snoop, yes.
Yeah. So he ends up, when you battled Stefanio, and I know I'm saying his wrong. Yeah. I make him Spanish. Some people on the show make him Italian. I make him Spanish. He's Filipino.
Yes, he is.
So when you battle him, Michael ends up picking him, and then he won the whole thing. So I don't want to say what I'm thinking, but what are you thinking? Because when I saw that, I had a thought. What were your thoughts?
So first of all, Sofronio is a great singer. And that song definitely suited him a little bit more as far as
Celine Dion.
Right. As far as
what was that? Power of Love.
Power of Love.
Yeah.
As far as just like that cinematic feel, he has a great voice for that. And Bublé is in that lane. So I was just happy to sing Celine Dion on The Voice. And Sofronio is a great spirit, so we got along very well. But I did know that we would both stay. Just from my own thinking of the show and how they want the viewers to see it, they're going to put the best of the best against each other. And that's just expected. I mean, it's a competition show. But there are... They want the show to go a certain way, I won't say too much, but I'm very happy for Sofronio. He definitely deserves it. So yeah.
I just thought it was interesting. The guy
Mm-hmm.
that Michael picked you for ended up winning.
Yeah. Things are strategic. So,
right.
Whatever you're thinking, you might be right.
That could have easily have been, you.
Yeah.
Because what other voice was there, But to your point, it's God's plan.
Yes.
It is.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about the fashion because that last number...
Thank you.
Girl, the dress, the gold, the voice, the hair, the face, the Glorilla Sexy Red song. You was getting hair, face, everything.
Thank you.
How do you pick the fashion? Do they do that for you as well?
So you have to submit like a vision board of, what you like and colors you like, and you can be very specific and you can write out the sizes you want, the neck frame you like, everything. And I do mine down to a T because I know exactly what I want. But I also brought out clothes to show, this is the type of things that I wear and the quality I like, because sometimes people don't get that right.
They ordering from Shein, girl? Order from Shein. Let's get it right. But we on The Voice.
You can get some.
If we on The Voice, I don't know if we're going to be wearing Shein.
Right. I don't want to wear Shein.
We don't want it to be see-through or, they got the big cameras.
Right. So, I was, very direct and forward with, what I wanted and how I would like to present myself as an artist. And I was paired with a stylist that is a part of their production, like everyone else's. And she saw my vision. We did have some hiccups of me making sure I had to advocate for myself. I'm not going to go on stage with that. I'm sorry.
I love that.
And that's just what you have to
feel comfortable when you're singing.
You don't want to be on stage and not, feeling your cutest, your flyest, because you could just be self-conscious, or even the shoes you're wearing. You try not to show your shoes under the dress. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Something like that. But that gold dress, I had to advocate for that. I definitely had to advocate for that because there was, a lineup of clothes for that performance, and it just was not my quality or
I'm not singing Whitney in that.
Right.
I need to be singing Whitney in gold dress.
Right.
Hugs to the curves. All right.
So I had to drop a few names and let them know we have to, give something of quality, and that's glamorous, because that's normally what I go for. Glamour. So yes.
It was giving glamour, girl.
Thank you.
So you were out there for how many weeks?
I was out there all throughout the summer, since June till mid-September.
Wow, it takes that long?
Mm-hmm. Wow. I mean, depending on how long you go. So for the other contestants that, got top 8 and top 8, all of those contestants, they had to go until last month, really.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So when you describe what you went through, how would you describe it?
I had a great experience. I mean, when you are submerged in a environment of people who love what they do, and everybody is on the same page about why they are there, it's a great environment. It's a great experience. I had a great time meeting all of the coaches, Buble, Gwen, Reba, and Snoop, of course. And I got to meet some wonderful spirits there. I am very selective about the people that I'm around.
Mm-hmm.
So I was a tad bit of a hermit crab. I'm just going to say it. But, when I find my people, I'm like, okay, I got you. We're here with, let's go out Tuesday and, do something.
Hang out.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I had a great experience. I would definitely recommend it for anyone who wants to do it. And the production team itself is great. They make sure okay, if this is not working out for you, let's try to find something else.
Yeah.
So I would recommend it. Yeah.
Yeah. So Reba said, and I'm trying to find the direct quote. She said, "You have the voice of an angel."
She did.
Which Reba's voice.
Right.
Is voicing. Who was the coolest judge? I know we talked about you were on Bublé's team and then you switched to Snoop, but who you think I could hang out with that one? Who was it? Gwen, Reba,
So I didn't spend too much time with Gwen or Reba.
Uh-huh.
I only got to experience them in passing, or if we were doing something in the stage space.
Oh, okay, that's interesting.
But I don't know. I had good coaches. Like I had Bublé and Snoop. Bublé is super like fun and like he's out there and like he's super silly and like chill. Like hey, like no, come on, let's
Yeah.
And Snoop is just like real chill too. So I personally love them both.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're both fathers. Like they know how to just like be in a room and like kick it with young people and not like try to make it about them or like make it like, oh, I'm head honcho. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So they're super cool. So I would say both Bublé and Snoop.
Okay. Yeah. I'm surprised. I thought maybe during filming, you would get more interaction with the other judges.
And you do, but you spend most of the time with whoever your coach is.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. What did you learn from either one of them when it comes to your singing? I feel like maybe you would learn a little bit more from Bublé, but did you learn anything about your craft?
I did. So with Bublé, as far as where like how he thinks about creating music, he's very cinematic, like we were talking about earlier. He'll write a song and like think about walking in Paris and the scenery it is in and like how it feels if you graze someone's hand and you guys hold hands together. And I was able to get more into that space with the little time that I had. But as a writer, that's how I think anyway. But as a performer, it was not. It was more of a make sure you're not moving too much. Make sure you're you know what I'm saying? Make sure you're not over exaggerating certain things and you are just being a singer as well. Because a lot of times, and I also got this wisdom from Lettucey. She was actually my professor at Berkeley.
What?
She was.
How do you have all these amazing voices just casually coaching you?
It's only because of God.
Only.
But she told me like sometimes singers we're moving too much. Like if you're not dancing and singing, there's no reason you should be walking across the stage 50 million times or like moving your arms around so much.
Let me tell you something. I was so impressed by Adele. Adele does not move.
No, she stands there and sings in her power.
It blows my mind, and I'm not. I don't feel like I need a two-step. I don't feel like I need to be entertained. It is the most incredible thing that she does not move. Mm-hmm. She stands right there and sings.
And you're still encapsulated.
Yes.
Like, straight on center. Only her.
It's interesting you say that though, because I never realized that if you have a powerful voice, why you need to do all that?
Yeah,
your voice will do enough.
Yeah, and it's honestly it's a good practice to keep, just to not move around a lot because it can be distracting. I mean, if it's an upbeat song and you got some 1-2 steps in there, do your thing. But especially singing huge songs like Tamar, Halle Bailey, and Whitney Houston, Celine Dion. Celine Dion, she doesn't really move. She might do that little short thing. Whitney likes to, tap and, but they just stand there. And,
Whitney will give you a head. Yeah, she give an attitude with the head, right?
But they just stand there and, look out at the crowd and they just sing their song.
Yeah. And it's funny you say that. When Halle Bailey's with Chloe, she does more dancing because that's Chloe's vibe.
Right.
But when she's on her own, she's singing these very regal, captivating songs where she's not doing all that. Mm-hmm. That's interesting.
And for some artists, it works. But,
yeah,
to just get the voice out there. And, that's what people like. And it's a good practice to keep as far as, an artist. So from Bublé, I was able to get that cinematic aspect and performing.
Yeah.
Because, I grew up with like all of the teachers that I've had to not move so much, but it was more about relaying the message, but also making sure you use the stage.
Yeah.
Whereas Bublé is like, use the stage, but act like you're looking out to something else.
Yeah.
You're not looking out to an audience. You're looking out to, let me go stand by the tree over there.
That's hard.
Right. It is hard, but it sets the scene for the audience to imagine.
Yeah.
So that was a good thing that I learned from him that I will keep And from Snoop is just to stand in your power more and like not be afraid of it. Because I do have a big voice and I'm still struggling with, not being afraid of it. And like, if I'm like blowing everybody's ears out in the stadium, I'm so sorry, but I have to do that. And I have to get better with that as far as, if it sounds too loud, just let it be loud, but it's going to sound good.
I'm the same way, though. Yeah. I feel like as women, we have to advocate for each other to get it right. Mm-hmm. Even doing this, you saw me. I was like, no, we need to get this right. You need to get this. Mm-hmm. We just have to be that way. But it's funny. You don't see a lot of women in that light most of the time. Mm-hmm. So when we are there, it's almost like,
what do you think it is?
Right. It's like, no, I have a craft and I'm trying to get it right. And then we're going to do it until it's right. Exactly. Exactly. And if we got to stop, we got to do it again, or we got to readjust. That's what we got to do because we're trying to get the best product we can get. I feel like women should be taught this. Right. Like, how do we negotiate? Mm-hmm. It's everybody, not even just women. Right. But people should be taught how to negotiate on behalf of themselves. Mm-hmm. And even when I got into this industry, I felt like that was a weakness for me. I didn't really know how to communicate and then
like not be too forward.
Right. Yeah. Or like very stubborn. I'm like, no, we got to do it like this. There's a tactic to negotiating. And I feel like it's something, regardless of what you're doing, you should have a class or some training on how to do that in the business.
Now, my liaisons, they are women, but they've been in the business. They know what to, they know what to say. But however, when I'm advocating for myself, or just communicating with, establishments and businesses and, things like that, I am forward. Mm-hmm. Because so many things can be misconstrued or, people don't take you seriously if you are not. So women, we don't really have the luxury of, that double-edged sword of like, okay, you're being too calm, so they might not take you seriously at all, or you're being too forward, they might like shy away from you because like, who does she think she is? Like, she's giving off too much energy.
But I need stuff.
Exactly.
I need wardrobe. Exactly. I need a stipend for money. I need you to take care of my ground transportation. Right. Okay. I need you to pick me up from the airport. I need this.
So even with, even with like the voice production, I'm forward, but also I know that I make a good reputation with these people and I have good rapport with them as far as who I am as a person outside of the emails. They know like, okay, she's a sweet girl, but she makes sure that things get done and, she's advocating for herself. So I also think that's why meeting people in person is good. Yeah. Like we're meeting in person and I want you to know like who I am and what you see is what you get. Yeah. And thankfully you are a woman, so I don't have to feel like I can't speak up for myself. Yeah. And unfortunately we can't say that for all women, but thank you for being that one. But yeah, it's super important to advocate and be forward. And that's a way to do it. Yeah. So just do it. Don't shy away from it. Get what you need. Get what you deserve.
I feel like a lot of women, when I talk to women artists, some of them, I have very specific people in mind because I'm picking up on a commonality here. Mm-hmm. Women who have advocated for themselves that have been almost, thought of too difficult will go with someone else who doesn't ask for that much, this one person's coming to mind where even it came down to her music and how she wanted certain things with her music. And they were like, no, like this. It's like, no, but I'm not a singer. I'm a producer. Right. I know how to, I've sang background. I know how to layer my music. I know I play instruments, right? I want to use this particular instrument. It happens a lot, and there's tons of women out there who maybe have, maybe not reached the heights because somebody didn't like their demands or that they were too, too certain on what they wanted. It's a very common story. Right. Back in the day, they would just hire people who sang. Right. Like Whitney sang songs. Right. So. Whitney showed up and sang the songs. Right. Mm-hmm. Now women are arranging it and producing it and playing the instruments and mixing it and mastering it. There's so many more women artists that I talk to that are that involved in their art. Mm-hmm. Times are changing. Hopefully the people in charge change with it.
Exactly.
So moving forward, you want to be signed to a label. You want to be an artist.
Yes.
So what are you doing now? Because I know this is always a weird space after you've had this big, thing.
Right now, I'm in the midst of negotiating things.
Great.
I'm in the midst of preparing and planning. I don't know. This is just a season of me to be able to lay out a strong foundation.
Right.
For moving forward, because music, the business aspect, is very crucial and lucrative to a long-lasting career. So I gotta make sure that all of those things are strong and set in stone, and they're done correctly. Thankfully, I do have people with me that will make sure that happens. So yeah, that's what I'm getting ready for. I'm creating, and
You dropping an EP? What are we doing?
I don't want to say too much.
Okay, good.
But just know that something is coming.
Yes.
I won't say when. But look out for it. Stay with me. You know. Yeah.
We'll be listening.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Anything you want to add? I feel like we kind of had a really good conversation.
We did. Anything I want to add? To just stay with me. Also, social media is not my strong suit. I try to give the girls what they need. But sometimes I just want to be home and laid under the covers.
What sign are you?
I'm a Pisces.
Okay.
I'm a Pisces.
You guys are not going to be outside. You're going to be home cooking.
Yes.
My mother's a Pisces.
Yes.
You're a different Pisces, though.
I'm the 13th, so I'm like up in there.
Yeah, okay. Because I feel like my mother is very non-confrontational, and sometimes I feel like she would be more vocal about her thoughts, but you're actually the very opposite.
I had a Gemini mother, so that might be
That's it.
That's it.
Aliyah,
yes.
Thank you so much for coming.
So
Stay with her. Aliyah Khaylyn.
Yes.
Yes. Not from The Voice, formerly from The Voice.
Yes.
But now setting off into her own journey in the music business. Thank you for watching. It's Mina Say What. You're on the Mina's House podcast.